Oh, do you want a pen? Do you want a piece of paper?
No.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I'll take one anyways, just in case.
Piece of paper?
Just in case. Piece of paper and pen.
Hi, this is Luke Cage. No, I'm kidding. This is Frank X. Well, for the Appalachian Poets, and you're listening to WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington Community Radio.
All right, boys. We ready?
Yep.
Okay. Let me share it. How do I do this? Share to a page. Okay.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome everybody to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 LPFM Lexington. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the hottest talk radio show in the city of Lexington. In addition to listening to us on the radio, you can check us out on our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or if you are driving out of the Lexington area, you can download the WLXU app on your smartphone device. Amber Turner is in the studio with me as always. Amber, how are you today?
I'm doing good, which is a change from last week, so...
We started the show last week and you were a little frustrated with the road rage. Glad you're feeling better today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited because also in the studio, not only do we have Amber co-hosting, but today I have a good friend of mine, Sam Whitehead, in the studio. Whitehead, say hello to the people.
Hey, how you doing, man?
It's good to have you, man. Listen, I have known you for 13 years.
Yeah.
Dating back till 2006. I met Whitehead, we went to college together, and it's funny how we do know each other. It really is, because I met you the first day of my college experience. So I don't know what college is like without you at all, because you were there through it all. Even when, like, you graduated, even when you graduated, you were still living in the city of Moorhead.
Right.
Yeah, so we've got stories, so many stories, and we might pull them out of Whitehead today.
Maybe.
But Whitehead is going to be with us the entire hour. He's going to be discussing a lot of the topics with us today. You excited about that, Amber?
I am a lot. Sam, I've not known him for 13 years, but I've known you for 12. I
Yep.
met you in 2007.
Yeah, it's good seeing you. How long's it been since I last seen you?
Oh gosh, it's probably been a while since I've seen you last.
Yeah.
I would say at least a good 5-6 years.
Yeah, at least I'd say.
If not longer. And it was nice when I met him because I only knew Sam through stories that had been told to me, from Adam. And, when you hear stories, you don't ever really know how people are. And then I met you, and you were one of the nicest people. You were so respectable.
Oh, well, thanks.
And, I met you at a young age. We were all in our early 20s. And you were just not genuinely nice.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. I try to be nice to everybody anyways.
You were. You made a great first impression on me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I hung out with him one summer more than I even hung out with you.
He's a stand-up guy. Listen, on the Off the Cuff page, if you haven't checked it out yet, Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, go to it. I have posted a video of Whitehead cutting a wrestling promo at a pep rally. Whitehead is a high school teacher. Let me just clarify that. He teaches high school, Rowan County High School, teaches math.
Yep.
You've been doing that for how long now?
I've been teaching for 5 years, but at Rowan County, this is my 3rd year right now.
And now you're coaching football.
Yeah, quarterback coach at Rowan County, too.
And you've been doing that for how long?
This is my 2nd year. My 1st year teaching at Rowan County, I didn't coach that year, but this is my 2nd year at Rowan County.
Okay, so go look at the video. You were asked for this particular pep rally, because it's homecoming weekend this weekend.
Well, last weekend was.
Oh, last weekend was.
Yeah.
So they played their homecoming game. Did they win?
No, it was a heartbreaker. It was 4th and goal on the 1 yard line. We were up by 1 point, and they they snuck it in there on us, man, and beat us. It was 18 seconds left to go. It was a heartbreaker, man.
I thought if anything, that wrestling promo that you cut at that pep rally would get those players pumped up. So watch the video. It's Sam Whitehead cutting a wrestling promo. So tell us, Whitehead, kind of how that got started. Did somebody approach you and say, "Look, we need somebody to go into this pep rally and get these kids getting our adrenaline"?
Well, the head coach, it's funny because when we have the homecoming pep rally, it's the big football game too. But like, there's a lot of things that goes on in the pep rally, and the football. The head coach, he comes out for 2 minutes, and then he'll give a little rah-rah speech there. And then he came to me like a few hours before then, and he said, "Hey, man, I need a big favor, man." And I was like, "Well, what's that?" At first, I thought I was in trouble or something, But anyways, he told me, he said, "I really need you to give them a big rah-rah, man. I can't do it this year, man. You got me, man." I was like, "Yeah, all right, I'll see what I can do there, And last year he made a Stone Cold Steve Austin reference, and I didn't know what to do just on the fly like that. So I was like, well, I'm gonna keep it wrestling themed. So you can't go wrong with pulling out The Rock.
You cannot. So I was surprised though, because you were over in this promo that you did, and when I say he was over, that's a wrestling word that people say. He got over, like he had the crowd in the palm of his hand, folks.
And I'm going to say it live just so you know. When Adam and I watched the video together, we both looked at each other, made eye contact, and said, "Whitehead just got over."
Whitehead got over. Whitehead, if this was the WWF, and yes,
if this was WrestleMania 13,
and yes, I did say if.
Yes.
If it was the WWF, Whitehead would be selling T-shirts because he got over in that promo. So, and I was surprised of how over you got, because it's 2019 and you were cutting a Rock promo. The Rock
20 years ago.
And The Rock, yes, he's still relevant today, but people know him as Dwayne Johnson. You were cutting a 2000-2001 Rock promo, and people were going bananas.
Yeah, well, I had the help of the other teachers too there, because I guess you're trying to talk about like how this younger generation, they probably don't know things like that, like particularly The Rock, as well as we do.
Yeah.
But there was a teacher pep section this year too.
Yeah.
And like when I was like the millions, and they echoed and millions, so the teachers had my back on that. And
it's like that with Amber when we went and watched Jerry Springer in the studio audience, and even Jimmy Kimmel in the studio audience. To get the crowd going, they always have those applause signs, and they always have one guy leading everybody.
Yep.
Like when they want everybody to go, "Oh," they have one guy yell it, "Oh," really loud first. So that's kind of how it was for you, Whitehead.
Sort of, man. The teachers, man, they get a kick out of me, man. So they were definitely wanting to do everything they could to try to get me over, the way you put it.
Yeah. Go and watch it. Off the Cuff with Adam Banks on the Facebook page. I posted it on there. You got to see it. It's already up to like 2.3, 2.4 thousand views. I predict that this is going to go viral. But I have to ask you, Whitehead, because it was such a good promo and you did have the audience in the palm of your hand, what is it that wrestlers are lacking today in 2019 that is keeping them from creating good promos? Because it is lacking.
Yeah,
if you watch the product today, it's lacking.
That's tough, man. See, I just feel like back in the 90s, they were just so good at just trash talking and all that stuff, and they were just so good at it, and you had a bunch of them that could do it. But this year, I think it's just more about the eye candy, right? Like, everybody's got to be looking good and things like that.
Oh, I know. And
so there's no Paul Bears in wrestling now?
Today? Well, I mean, not even that. Back in the day, you didn't have to have an athletic body to get over.
No.
Look at Mankind. I mean, look at Shawn Michaels. Those guys wasn't like body wrestler look.
No.
They wasn't your ideal body looks.
Well, I mean, even the best known wrestler in the world, Stone Cold Steve Austin, if you look, he's the only man I know can have a six-pack and a beard belly at the same time.
Sean on the show thread says cheesy was really in during the 90s. So he calls it cheesy. I feel bad for people when they say they didn't watch wrestling.
I do too.
That is something that's just a hidden treasure that once you discover it, God, there's nothing in the world like it to bring you peace.
So somebody, I'd mentioned it yesterday to somebody that I enjoyed watching wrestling, and they this is exactly what was said to me. They said it's a hillbilly romance or novella. It was a hillbilly novella, and I think that's the perfect description of what wrestling was in 98, 99, 2000.
Yeah.
A hillbilly novella.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are so excited to have Whitehead for the entire hour. We got so much to talk about. One of the biggest things that we're going to talk about on the next segment is what I've been promoting, his appearance back in 2000 and when? Was it you went on The Price is Right?
Oh, Oh, was that 2015? Yeah. This week actually was the 4-year anniversary of that episode too.
It was a 4 years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So
Monday was.
Okay. So yeah, we're going to talk about that on the next segment. So we got a lot to talk about. But I do want to bring in the first topic, and Whitehead, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. So they talked about this on Midday Kentucky, and you know how I like to sometimes cross the two.
Well, yeah, you got to get both Amber's opinions.
Yeah, you got to get. I got to get.
I'll never put that together.
Yeah, so if you have been watching Midday Kentucky, make sure that you check it out. It's on ABC 36, 12:30, Monday through Friday. Occasionally, you will see me on there.
Mondays and Tuesdays.
Mondays and Tuesdays, mostly. But we had an article that was brought to our attention last week, and I want to talk about it today. Whiskey maker Glenn Levet released edible cocktail capsules made from seaweed, sort of a Jell-O shot Tide Pod type of thing. And it's basically, you know what the Tide Pods look like that you throw in your dishwasher, you throw in your washing machine, and it releases the juice and it washes your clothes? Well, now they come up with alcoholic Tide Pods that has alcohol in them. So people can now just place those in their mouth and it busts like a Tylenol capsule. And you
or
get
a Tide Pod.
Yeah, or a Tide Pod.
And you get the joy of alcohol. What do you make of that?
It's just crazy how, that whole thing, that whole idea, just where it come from, just people just being crazy, just taking actual Tide Pods, sticking it in their mouths, and they bust and all that stuff. They post on their Instagram and all that. And it's just crazy that somebody was smart enough to take that idea and go another step with it.
And it's a sports fan's dream, too, because think about how easy it is to sneak alcohol into games now. Before, you had to hide stuff under your coat.
People are going to put them in their pockets, and they're going to bust.
Oh, you think they'll bust?
Yeah.
It's just going to make a mess?
It's going to, this is a scheme. This is a scheme. They're selling these things because they're just going to bust before you can get them home.
It says, whiskey lovers can simply pop one of these candy-like pods in their mouths and bite down to release the liquid. They come in 3 flavors, citrus, wood, and spice. Each capsule contains 23 millimeters of liquid and measures just under an inch.
So, is that really like how they're promoting it? Is this like candy?
They are.
I mean, is this not like
candy-like, they say?
Yeah, candy-like. Is this not like a repeat of the Camel for cigarettes back in the day? People got upset because they made it something that children wanted to be around. People wanted to be around smoking because you have this cool Camel and you got things. So now we've got candy alcohol.
Well, I look at it like this. Drinking alcohol, it's all about the experience. It's like drinking a cup of coffee. You want the experience of it. I think this takes away from the experience of social drinking. People in college, what do? You drink. You have a drink in your hand, you walk around, you're talking to people, you're quote unquote, you're partying, and you're just
socializing.
It's part of it. It's part of drinking. It's just the socializing, the environment, the experience of drinking. This takes away completely from it. You might as well just hook an IV up to you and just shoot the alcohol in because there's going to be no experience. It's like putting a tobacco patch on. You don't have the act of smoking a cigarette, but you're still getting the nicotine. So,
right.
Well, this product gets 2 thumbs down for me.
Yeah. So don't you think it takes away from the experience?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't even know this was a thing until you just brought it up.
Well, the reason you hasn't is because it's overseas. It's not hit the U.S. yet. So they're testing it out overseas, and they're only selling it until the 13th. So that's Monday.
Yep.
And but if it works out over there and the sales are up, they're going to bring it to the U.S.
Well.
Yeah. Let's hope the sales.
It's one of those things. I think that it'll if it does take off here, it'll be short lived. I don't think it.
Yeah.
But as far as taking away from the experience, I guess it's just some other little pranking type way of doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Leave it to Gen Z though to really get behind something like this because we all remember when they was eating Tide Pods with the dishwashing detergent in there. And they were eating that. So they'll buy it. Gen Z will.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to buy it. It's easy to conceal. You could take it into high school.
Oh, gosh, don't give anybody any ideas, man. Stop that right there.
Because, like vaping. I've heard before that a lot of high schools, I don't know how true this is, or I don't know if this is even going to happen, but I heard that they're having a problem with vaping in high schools. People are going to the bathroom, they're getting to the bathroom stalls, and they're vaping. I mean, it's easy to do. You can't smell it. You really can't see it if you are not blowing like big jet smoke clouds.
Right.
But they're having a problem with people doing that, so they're saying they're going to take away the doors off the stalls. Do you think that would happen, or have you heard anything like that?
No.
I mean, I don't see that happening, man. But honestly, the best that we can do is just try to educate these young people, what the dangers are in it and all that stuff, and just try to de-promote it, if you want to put it that way.
I like that word, de-promote it.
Did I just make one up or something?
Probably not, but I liked how it got used.
He is the voice of reason. That's why I brought him on the show.
Exactly.
We got lots more with Whitehead coming up right after these words. Stick with us. All right, that was our first segment, so we're done there. We got next segment's going to be Price is Right. I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
You done good.
You did awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it was great.
Friendships include homework help, healthy snacks, enrichment activities, and physical activities.
Oh, let me go ahead and get this telephone number out.
See, like, I've only done one topic, like the Joker movie, I haven't even talked about that. So usually we don't get all the topics, and I hope to create a whole segment out of this, so don't feel like you're being boring.
No, man. Hey, I've wondered, are we about to go back on?
No, in 32 seconds we are.
Like, I've wondered, like, do you ever come out of this room and then you're just like, oh man, you think of stuff that you could have said, that you wish you said.
Yeah. Every show.
Day.
Every show.
I figured.
It moves so fast. It's just like you don't really.
The Bluegrass Book can be found in stores and businesses. Mexicans and Tana.
Here we go.
For publicity or more information, visit www.elmundobluegrass.com. And follow us on Facebook at Mundo Bluegrass or call today at 859-270-8083.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in the studio with me, along with Sam Whitehead.
The famous Sam Whitehead.
The famous Sam Whitehead. And I don't even really know what to say he's famous for anymore because there's so much out there on this guy right now.
You're just famous in general.
Well, appreciate it.
What you're hearing, ladies and gentlemen, is The Price is Right. Now, I've been talking about this for a week now. When I said that Sam Whitehead was coming onto the show, people were saying, ask him what it was like to be on a game show, what it was like to be on The Price is Right. And Sam, let's take it back. So you went to California for vacation with your wife.
Yes.
And tell us the story. Why did you decide to go to The Price is Right taping? Like, how did this whole thing get started?
Man, really all it was my wife had never flown before, and we had a few days off there, and we had the money to go on vacation, so we were like, well, let's just go to a city. We were talking about going to New York or Miami, and then we just picked L.A. because we knew somebody out there. Angie, we knew her, so... Yeah. The whole reason why we went up there in the first place is just so Sarah could get on a daggone airplane.
She's never been on a plane before.
Well, she has now, to and from. So, and then I guess about 2 weeks prior to us going down there, we was looking at things to do while we're in LA, and I was like, oh, you can go to The Price is Right for free. That's like my favorite game show. Let's just check that out.
Yeah. So you went to The Price is Right, and you walked in. Tell me what goes into them selecting somebody to come on down? What goes into that process?
Well, that's interesting because, everybody always thinks that it's just at random, but there actually is somewhat of an audition process. So, like, you'll, after you go through this little line and you sign all this paperwork, you'll take a picture and then you'll come down this rail. So, like, 300 people go in the studio at a time, and they bring you down this rail, like, in chalks of 30. And this producer will just kind of come down the line and say, hey, what do you do for a living? Where are you from? Do you watch The Price is Right every day? What's your favorite game on there? And, you just got, 10 seconds to shine, really. And if you seem like an excitable person or whatever, they'll call you down. So they already know ahead of time, but you don't know.
Right. So they really are looking for someone who is going to go and show out on the show, like be charismatic, have a lot of energy. So did you turn up the voltage when you were auditioning for this?
Well, if you know me, man, there's no voltage to turn up. It's already there.
it's already on max.
So, and I tell you, man, it's interesting how they have to be, pretty good judges of character just, in that short time span right there.
So you get there, and is it multiple people talking to you, or is it just the producer just going around?
Just the producer. He just comes down there and he just asks you that question real quick, those 3 or 4 questions, and then he just goes to the next person.
Okay, and the questions are sort of like, what are you doing here? Where are you from?
Yeah, where are you from? Do you watch The Price is Right every day? And what's your favorite game too? Those are the most common ones. So I heard him ask those same questions, 29 other times.
Yeah.
So
That's hilarious. And so once you get on the episode, once they call you to come on down, did you hear them say, Sam Whitehead, come on down, or did you just know? Did somebody tell you they're calling your name? Like,
man, all right. So when you're when you're in the studio, it's so loud in there because they tell you that you still have a chance to be on the show when they're starting to call people down. So everybody in there's cheering, trying to be all exciting and everything. And I'm sitting there like, man, there's no way they're going to call me down. So whenever they called my name, they said, Sam Whitehead, come on down. And I couldn't hear it because it was so loud, and I was the first one, and I didn't know how the process went at the time. So if you watch the full episode, you'll see the camera zoom in on me. And I'm sitting there looking around, clapping like, who they call? And then Sarah finally, starts tapping me on the shoulder, and she says, hey, you need to get down. They called you. There's a guy up there with some headphones, kind of like what I got on right now. He's got this big old sign with my name on it, and he's pointing at me. He's like, you get down here right now. Get down. He's snapping his fingers at me. And I'm like, oh, you'll see me be like, oh, yeah. I was the first one on the whole show called down, too.
well, when I say, that means that you probably were the best person in the audience. If you were the first one to call down, that means you were the one they liked the most.
Yeah, well, I didn't go on there and act all crazy or anything. At least I don't think I did. I mean, I was excited and nervous at the same time, but, there's people who jump all over the place and dance and grab Drew Carey up and Bob Barker even when he was on there and all that stuff.
And it's such an iconic show. To think about that you were on The Price is Right on CBS, national TV. Does it sink in at any point while you're there, like, oh my God, a million people are watching me right now?
Well, I mean, I just thought, okay, I'm on TV, but, it all happened so fast. I don't even know. I couldn't even, process everything. I was just going with the flow. That's just the way you got to be, man. Just like I am right now, I'm just going with the flow. If you're one of those kinds of people, then, you don't even think about it.
Okay, so we have some audio of Sam Whitehead's appearance on The Price is Right.
Oh, boy.
4 years ago, almost to the day, here it is, Sam Whitehead getting called down to be on The Price is Right. Take a listen.
Buddy, I'm from Kentucky. From Kentucky, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, all the way from Kentucky. George, what do we got for him?
How'd you like a brand new car?
And he wanted to get within $3,000 of the price of the car with...
Okay, I want to stop it there for just a second, Whitehead. We talked about, it says that you will have a brand new car. When he said, how about a brand new car, what went through your mind?
I was like, a Volkswagen Beetle? That's what it rolled out to me there, and I was like, okay, so I might get a Volkswagen Beetle, but I wasn't thinking I was going to leave it there. I was like, man, just I was sure that I wasn't going to get called down, and I was like, there ain't no way I'm going to win this.
Because that's the one thing people want when they go on The Price is Right, is a car, and and that's what you were about to play. So now we're at the part in the video to where you're about to play the game. Did you know how to play this game? I mean, have you seen it on TV before, or was this your first time ever seen it?
No. I mean, I was working during the day, and I hadn't watched The Price is Right in quite a time. So, Drew Carey sitting there telling me how to play the game and stuff, and I swear it seemed like it was an hour-long explanation. I was trying to listen to him, and I still wasn't sure what I was supposed to do, so I kind of just went off the crowd because they're telling you to keep going, they tell you when to stop. That's what I completely went off of, no lie.
Did you look at your wife, Sarah, and see what she was pointing up, or was you just... not trusting her?
I tried to see her, man, but there's so many hands waving around. She was in play the 10th row or something like that, and she wasn't sitting up front or anything. So I was trying to look at her, and she was hard to see. But I seen all them hands waving.
Okay, so now we're at the point. The game is over. Let's see if he's won.
This is my favorite part.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is great.
Yes! Yes!
Man, I didn't know what else to say. I stood in front of that camera, I swear, for forever. And I mean, Rachel Reynolds is sitting there too, and I'm holding that license plate, and I'm just staring there, and I don't know what to do. And I didn't realize that they were wanting me to like get in the car and like honk the horn and all that stuff. I found that out later. But like I'm standing in front of there and I'm looking at that camera. I'm just like, how do you like me now?
I have to ask, did you? First of all, do you realize that's iconic? You had an iconic moment.
Really?
You did.
Yes.
I mean, I even like when it all calmed down and I went back to the seat there. I remember thinking like, dude, did I really just say that on TV? I hope they don't put that on there. I can't believe I said that.
That's probably why your segment made TV.
Yes,
It's because
you made TV because of that. That was, I have to say, I'm going to say it live, that was probably one of the coolest things I have ever seen done, and the fact that I knew the person that done it made it even better.
How do you like me now? I mean, what else do you say when you just want a car?
You don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I had no idea what to say. I felt like I had to say something. I mean, what else would I have said? Just stood there and kept smiling?
I mean, I just have to tell you, I'm so surprised that you kept it together, because when I would have heard my name come on down, I would have lost it.
Well, like I said, I didn't hear it. I'm looking around to see who's walking down there. Who they call, and they're like, you better get down there.
Couple questions, though. So, you won the car.
Okay.
Do you get to drive the car home?
No.
Okay, when do you get the car?
So between the time I was actually on the show to the time it aired, there's about a 3-month difference right there.
Wow.
And I mean, I wasn't allowed to tell anybody. I didn't even tell my mom about it.
Oh, dang.
And I'm sure they got people on their payroll that if they keep up with you or whatever, and if they find out that you're talking about it to spoil the show, they say, then they can you'll forfeit your prize. So I'm sitting there. I'm living in Richmond at the time, and when the show finally aired, about 3 months later, I had 30 days from that date to pay 7% of the retail value of the state of California. And once I did that, I started the process with a Volkswagen dealership in Santa Monica, California. And you would think that they would just let you go pick one up at Don Jacobs in Lexington, but it's not that simple. They're just like overnight FedEx and all this stuff to me. I'm signing all these X's, and I miss one. They send it back. I do it again. And then they're like, all right, your car will be there in a few days. They put it on a truck, man. They hauled it all the way to my apartment in Richmond, Kentucky.
Wow.
And that license plate that you held and said, how do you like me now, that actually was on your car for a while.
Yeah, I had to take it off because the sun and the weather and all that was starting to fade it. And I was like, well, one day this car's not going to run. There's going to be a day where that,
Yeah, and he drove folks to the studio in the Price is Right car.
Yeah,
so
it's parked out there.
It's parked out there, so it's an excellent story to tell. I mean, and you can use that story like in class, Amber, when the professor always likes to say, tell us one thing interesting about yourself.
Yeah.
Whitehead can always say, I want a car on the Price is Right.
Oh man, I did that one time. I got a new job, before I went to Round County, and I was sitting in like the new employee section, like the little segment there where everybody's trying to get to know each other, and they're like, okay, put your name in an envelope and write something interesting about yourself. And I was like, well, I'll do that. It hadn't even been a year yet at the time, so it was still kind of fresh.
Yeah.
So people are pulling out these the little descriptions on like the interesting thing about them. They're saying things like, oh, I've got a cat named Gato, and I got and I'm not hating on it, man. I mean, I'm sure, this teacher over here likes to cook tacos and stuff like that, 'cause they talk about that too. And then when it got to mine, I was like, well, shoot, man, I should have probably put something different. But they pulled mine out, and it's like, I want a car on the Price is Right. And everybody's like face just went, oh,
yeah.
And then the questions just rolled in after that.
So you make it to the part where you spin the big iconic wheel.
Yep.
And you didn't win and go to the showcase, right?
No, I mean, but it wasn't bad though, because the three of us, and this is just the kind of person I am. I was happy with what I had, and the three people that myself and the other two people, me and this other lady, we won our games, and then the guy who actually beat us at the wheel, he didn't win his game, and I was happy to see him. He actually rolled $1. I got beat by $1.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, he rolled that, and then I was the last one to go, so I rolled 65 cents the first spin, and obviously had to spin again, and then the second spin landed on $1, so of course I busted, so.
Yeah, if only had that been the first one. But is that wheel heavy?
No. I mean, it's about as heavy as it looks, I guess, but no, it's not hard to make it go all the way around. Because they boo you if you don't do that. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah.
They do boo you because these little old women, they'll even
I was gonna say my granny would have booed you.
Yeah, no, the little old women, you know, I thought it was heavy because they sometimes have a hard time getting the wheels spun all the way around, so people will boo them.
Yeah,
these little old women.
Gotta work on that posture, man. You know, gotta have good posture when you do it.
On them tippy toes
have
and pull
have
it
that back
hard.
straight and all that.
I wondered though if it was rigged ever, but seeing is that you were the first one called down, so you were the most exciting person in the audience. We know it's now not rigged because they should have sent you to the showcase if it was.
At the same time, it's not random either. Or at least getting called down's not.
Yeah. Iconic.
It was iconic, man.
Yeah, and you were also in the same studio where they shot Carol Burnett for 11 seasons. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Carol Burnett show.
But I'm not a big TV guy.
Okay, well, Carol, have you heard of Carol Burnett?
I am probably the biggest Mama's Family fan in the world.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah. She was the producer of that show, but she did a show called the Carol Burnett Show on that stage for 11 seasons straight. And Whitehead got to stand on that stage and be a part of Price is Right history.
Part of history.
Part of Price is Right history. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we have a phone interview for Muy Bueno, and we're going to be debuting his new single on the radio. Don't miss it. That's coming up in the second half of Off the Cuff. Stick with us.
Hey, I'm Ryan from Lexington, Kentucky, and you're listening to WLXU.
No, in a minute. I'm going to come back and play the song first.
You don't want me to just put him on hold?
Not yet. Not yet. Yeah, we're off the air right now. What do you think so far?
Newspaper support Lexington Community Radio. El Mundo Bluegrass is a Spanish-language newspaper.
I think that just like so many people want to know those questions that I asked about the game show because like these were like, it's the wheel head.
You know, I just want you to know I walked around saying, "Hey, you like me now?" for a while.
Publicity or more information.
Man, I couldn't believe I said it.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, it worked out in the end, I guess.
It did.
Call today at
It did.
Well, the biggest question everybody was asking me about was taxes.
Oh God, I'd say they probably eat you up in taxes.
Did you miss your favorite show on Lexington Community Radio? Maybe you're looking for
I'll
something
just come
new to
back
listen to.
and
Now,
do,
Lexington Community Radio has
introduction to the
archives
song,
of some of their shows
and
on
then I'm gonna play the song,
SoundCloud. Visit
and then so, you guys don't have to worry about anything for the next song.
www.soundcloud.com/Lexington
Well, I'm not gonna-
Community
Okay, that's fine.
Radio to see all of the shows available.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off and mess with your mic. I just
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you, along with Amber Turner and Sam Whitehead in the studio. Throwback.
Yeah, this is definitely a throwback.
When you hear this song, what do you think of?
Please tell me you think about me.
Man, I think about a lot of things, I guess, man. I mean, this song was big in college, and I heard it in the weight room a lot when I was playing football. I heard, the first time I ever heard it, I was at, actually, I think I might have been in the weight room, but I remember me and Kyle Davis went up to Miami, Ohio one time, and I remember hearing it there, too, so.
There is one specific memory that I attached to this song, and it's got Whitehead in it. It's at your house, Amber, in the summer of 2007. This song was playing, and Whitehead was showing us how to pop, walk, and drop it.
Because, just to preface this, Whitehead actually can move pretty good.
Yeah.
I remember you actually had some moves.
Yeah, he can move.
And he was just kind of floating around.
He was floating around.
Doing his thing.
He was dancing. He was showing us how to pop, lock, and drop it. And did he ever show us how to pop, lock, and drop it when after he popped and locked it, he dropped it all the way to the floor.
Yeah, I was in my socks, and I was on like a hardwood floor, and I slipped. I remember that now. I forgot about that.
And I honestly thought you broke your hip. Like, I was actually terrified for about 30 seconds.
I'm made out of steel.
You were, because I think you got right back up and you popped, locked, and dropped it on the second
That's
chorus
part of the show,
again.
man. Part of the
It was part of it. All right, guys, as promised, I said that we're going to be debuting a new single from Muy Bueno, and we're going to play his new song, Freedom. And then after the song, since this is going to be Off the Cuff Song of the Week, he is going to be joining us via the telephone. So everybody, roll down them windows, relax, and enjoy Off the Cuff Song of the Week, Freedom by Muy Bueno. That's not Boy Muy Bueno. Pop Lock and Drop It. Boy Muy Bueno with Freedom. Here it is.
Let me free, let freedom ring. Got a lot of people follow me, so leave me be.
Oh. How about Pop Lock and Drop It? I'm going to sneak behind you here and get over there. Okay, how do I call out?
Maybe. Is it not working?
Hey. Freedom? Okay, good. Okay, alright, I'm going to put you on hold so I can go back over to my spot, and then Adam's going to pick you up in just a second, okay? Alright, thanks, man.
Cold, man.
No, it's usually
Hot in here? Yeah, you think it's must be hot.
well, I made him turn the AC on as soon as we were walking down. I didn't figure we'd burn you out the first day.
I hope this works. I'm bad at patching people in.
I know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you, along with Amber Turner and Sam Whitehead in the studio with me. Freedom by Boy Muy Bueno. That was his new song, Freedom. Now, everybody knows I am horrible with patching phone calls in. So you might have to bear with me as I get him, because I'm supposed to have him on hold. So let's see if I can patch him through. Boy Muy Bueno, are you there? Hey, man, I'm just so thankful that you actually got put through. How you doing, my man?
That is definitely not his forte.
Listen, would you prefer me call you something else? All right, well, let me tell you something. I really do like your music. Tell me what goes into writing your songs. Does it just kind of come to your head, or is there certain life situations that make you want to sit down and write your music? What really inspires you to write these songs of yours? And how long have you been making music? That's exactly what I do for the pod. I mean, when I started this show, I was like, man, this is really like an audio diary that I'm creating, because I can look back and listen at what I was doing back in 2016. So that's really cool that you do the same thing. So let's talk about your latest song, Freedom, that we just heard for Off the Cuff Song of the Week. What is it about exactly, and what made you write it? One of my favorite quotes ever, and I've said it on the show before. Amber's looking at me rolling her eyes because I'm about to say it again. But one of my favorite quotes ever, Boy Moy, is, if you hang around the barbershop long enough, you will eventually get a haircut. And that's just what you got to do, man. Eventually, if you just keep putting music out, keep being consistent, big things are going to happen. Okay, where can we find your music at?
And it's an absolutely beautiful place. I just want to let you know that.
Oh, you been there?
I have been there. It's beautiful.
Why have you been to Boy Moy's house?
I have been to Boy Moy's house because Boy Muy Bueno is actually the significant other of a childhood friend of both of ours.
Who?
Her name is Tiffany Buggus Long.
Wait a minute. You're lying to me.
I'm not.
She's dating Boy Moy.
Boy Muy Bueno is dating the infamous Tiffany Buggus Long.
Hey, he's Muy Bueno, man.
That's
exactly.
Really...
He's Muy Bueno.
That's enough to get anybody over there.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Boy Moy, and shout out your social media so everybody can give you a follow. Well, he's on all platforms. Appreciate you taking the time out to speak with us today on Off the Cuff. Keep it up. Remember, hang around the barbershop and you'll eventually get a haircut, my man. Hey, thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Boy Muy Bueno with his new single, Freedom. And there he was, just giving us a little info about his life, and he's dating a childhood friend of ours.
He is.
Very strange.
She's from Knott County, I assume.
He's not. No, he's not.
She is.
She is.
You
Yeah,
said
she is.
Sloan?
She is.
Yeah, of
and
course she's from
I
Knott County.
hate to say my childhood friend because she's actually my adult friend. She's one of those friends that, like Adam and I, she transitioned from being a childhood friend into an adult friend.
Gotcha.
And I love those friendships because you've weathered all storms together. So
I don't know. You haven't grown up a whole lot, Banks.
I'm glad somebody else said it, not me.
Well, and I was going to say this about Whitehead. I really was. I was going to say this about you. One of the many things I love about this guy right here is, how people do change over time. They do.
Yeah.
People are different.
Change is inevitable.
Change is inevitable. You're different. You're a different person at 18 than what you are at 30. But I've never met a person who is the exact same ever in my entire life than this person right here. And I'm not saying that you have no personal growth in life, because you have. I mean,
we all do.
You're very successful. But to the core, you're still that same Whitehead that I met when I was 18 years old.
We go good together, man. We're like testosterone and tribal tattoos, man. We go together like that.
And we both are... we're both down like 4 flat tires.
We go way back like car seats.
Oh my Jesus. Somebody come and save me.
All right, guys, we got to take our last commercial break because we got one more segment coming up right here on Off the Cuff. Stick with us.
Lexington Community Radio is your neighborhood
I heard
public
the other
radio,
day,
and we invite you
something
to
going
listen
together
to
like testosterone and tribal
Hyperlocal News
tattoos.
Tuesday
I was
and
looking for the
Friday at 9
opening for
o'clock
that
a.m.
one. I thought it was hilarious when I heard
That
it.
was good.
Friends and neighbors work together to provide you with information about what is happening right here in Lexington. If you have a story that you would like covered on the Community News Co-op, please email news@lexingtoncommunityradio.org. And again,
This,
listen to the Community News
slide
Co-op
thing's pretty
at
cool,
9 a.m.
man.
on Tuesdays and Fridays on WLXU 93.9
People are in and out.
FM.
Let's see. Jacob Plank, man, congrats on graduating basic and AIT, buddy.
Can I get on there in your Facebook live stream?
Newspaper El Mundo
You need
Bluegrass
by-
across the board, Lexington.
No, I was just gonna say what's up.
El Mundo Bluegrass is a Spanish language newspaper. Free
Yo.
and now articles in English.
Yep.
It's
Appreciate everybody listening to the show. Look at Whitehead, man, blowing it up over here. Listen, if you don't like Off the Cuff, or if you haven't liked Off the Cuff yet, go to the Off the Cuff Facebook page,
Listen to your
hit that like button,
Yeah.
give us a follow, so you can hear all kinds of nonsense and craziness. Appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Gotta get back to the show.
270-8088.
Why is it this thing gets looser every time I take it off?
You'll see me always messing with mine.
Sarah said hi, Banks. Hi, Sarah.
Flex Sports discover so much more than just athletic ability. Sports build character.
I got Lamar texting me right now, like, dude, just tune in, man.
Oh, yeah.
Members and non-members may participate. Scholarships available. To learn more or to sign up.
Oh, Brett. What's up, Brett?
ky.org/youthfallsports.
Here we go.
Really?
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Last segment of the hour, Amber Turner and Sam Whitehead in studio with me. Another throwback of 2007. I like throwing these songs on today's episode because it just reminds me of you, Whitehead.
Well, I mean, it's also a good thing to do, too, because I'm sure the people who are listening, it throws them back, too. I mean, songs like this, you know, especially like the Soulja Boy,
Yeah.
everybody's like, oh, dude, this reminds me of this time I did this. Or,
Yeah, everybody's got a Soulja Boy story.
Oh, yeah.
Where they tried to crank that Soulja Boy and probably didn't crank it correctly, but everybody's tried to crank it.
Who cares if they crank it correctly, man? Who cares?
Yeah. It's just one of those things.
As
It's
long
just,
as he does it correctly, I guess.
All right, we didn't get to talk about this last episode, but UK lost again to South Carolina football, a game that would have kept the Wildcats from a 3-game losing streak and an overall losing record after 5 games. Kentucky looked worse against South Carolina than they did against Mississippi State. The defense was sluggish. The offense was even worse. Quarterback Sawyer Smith, he could not get it going. He went 11 for 32 for 90 yards total, Whitehead. Not good for a UK college quarterback. Being a quarterback coach, how can Sawyer, I will keep wanting to say Sawyer Brown, how can Sawyer Smith get better?
Well, I think that, you know, people want to get away from fundamentals, and then they try to look at I mean, they got to look at the broader scope too, of course. But like, I think that a lot of times you spend too much time on that, and then you eventually kind of fade away from the fundamentals. So, like, you know, even Kobe Bryant, you know, had to work on his dribbling, even though he'd done it his whole life and he's really good at it. But you know, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Fundamentals, you got to keep those tight, man.
He also was injured too. He entered the Carolina game hampered with a shoulder and wrist injury, and it was obvious that he was hurt. And Stoops got a lot of flack for playing him. He kept him in the game. It reminded me of that movie Varsity Blues. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
Yeah.
Where John Voight kept putting those players back into the game when they were hurt. He kept
Put some
loading them
dirt on him now.
He kept giving them a shot.
Steroid shots.
Yeah, it was that steroid shot. He didn't care. He just wanted.
No.
He needed another state championship.
Well,
That's what
Yeah.
he said. I need that state championship, boy. You got a state championship hanging up in your office?
I do.
You do?
Yeah,
He
I
does.
do.
Wait, whoa. As a player or a coach?
As a coach.
Okay.
but now you actually did play college ball too, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, I remember that.
For the Eagles, Morehead State.
Yep.
He did. So wait a minute. Let's go back to the state title that you won. Where was this at? Coaching for who?
I was coaching for Hazard, and I was the receivers coach during the 2011 state championship campaign there. So
That's amazing. So you can that's a good little resume boost.
Yeah.
When you're looking for those NFL coaching jobs in the future. Yeah. Because he has won a state championship. Not many people can say that.
No.
Unless you went to Belfry.
Well.
Yeah.
Belfry's won like 5 or 6. I don't know. Have they? I know that's like the football school of Eastern Kentucky. Now, people will argue. That's fighting words for a lot of people in Eastern Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
That Belfry's the football school.
Well, you know, we got just north of us is Breathitt County, you know, and if you really want to ruffle their feathers up, man, you talk about their football a little bit, man, just to mess with them, you know, and stuff. And they'll be like, hey, you know, you better watch that mouth now. Yeah. They'll put you in check real quick.
Yeah, they do. Well, people have been talking about replacing Sawyer Smith with Lynn Bolton, who is the running back. Whitehead, what do you think about a running back switching to quarterback? To me, it seems like that all the defense would have to do is just line up on the line of scrimmage, and because they're going to be running the ball the entire time.
Well, I mean, if you just wanted to stack 8 people in the box all the time, you know, if that worked every single time, then, you know, no offense would ever score touchdowns. So I think that when you put a running back or somebody with that skill set at quarterback, you open up a lot of opportunities. So you just got to think of that. Like your passing game might take a lick a little bit, but that also opens up like your read options. You can run some wildcat and all that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, it's just you take gifts, man, and you just got to know how to use them.
Sophomore quarterback Walker Wood listed second on the depth chart. He did not play against South Carolina, and he has yet to make his Kentucky debut as a quarterback. I don't know why. He must really not be showing out in practice. I don't know why they're not going to put an actual quarterback as quarterback. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do this Saturday against Arkansas, because Kentucky's next game is Arkansas. I think it's going to be another toss-up. Arkansas is way, way, way overdue for a little bit of luck, but so is Kentucky. If you are a bettor, like myself, the bet's Kentucky minus 6.5, Arkansas is plus 6.5, and the over-under is 53.5. The game is this Saturday, October the 12th at 7:30 at Kroger Field on the SEC Network. Predictions, you think Kentucky pull that one off?
Well, of course, man. Go Big Blue.
Amber?
You know, I just have to say I'm so happy that Sam is here to talk sports with you, because everybody who listens to the show knows that sports is just not my strong point. So...
Okay, before we go, then I've got one more thing that I just want to talk about, and hopefully you've seen the movie. Has anybody in here got to see Joker?
No, but I've heard good things.
I have not.
It is unbelievable. Go watch it. Because I think it's important, though. Before you go watch this, don't go into it thinking it's going to be another Heath Ledger Joker. It's not. Joaquin Phoenix makes it his own. He makes the character his own. He puts his own spin on the Joker. It's a good character development movie. If you're going in thinking that you're going to see the Joker throughout the entire movie, you're going to be disappointed. As a matter of fact, he's not really in makeup to the last 30 minutes. It's a movie telling a character story about a guy named Arthur Flick.
So it's like the Joker's backstory in a sense, or is there any Batman in it at all?
Yes, there is. Bruce Wayne is in the movie, but he's a little boy. So it's showing the character development of the Joker. So, of course, Bruce Wayne is smaller during this, so you do get to see Batman in this movie. And I actually think it would really tie in with Heath Ledger's Dark Knight Joker, because it's similar, but it's different in the sense because he's not became the Joker yet. I think Heath Ledger is the Joker.
Yeah.
But this movie is so good. Joaquin Phoenix makes it so good because he tells the story of what made him become the Joker.
So you mean Heath Ledger, like when you say he's the Joker, like you mean like he's the Joker, like in your opinion he's the GOAT when it comes to that?
Yeah, it's just so...
Adam, come on.
Oh, you think Jack Nicholson's better?
Jack Nicholson is the GOAT.
Man, they were both good.
They were good.
God, they were both good.
Everybody who's played that role, well, I forgot about what's his face?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
No.
Well, I just liked how Jack Nicholson went into that museum, man, and started playing Prince. Man,
Party Man.
Oh, yeah.
That's a ballin' song.
Oh, man, that was one of the best scenes in all of film, I think.
So, I mean, it is a debate, who is the best Joker? Because now you have a couple people to choose from that could be in the run for legitimately being the best. You got Heath Ledger, you got Jack Nicholson, and you got Jared Leto.
Yep.
I mean, who's the best? Who was the original Joker with Adam West?
Oh, geez, you would ask me that. I'm not for sure who was
Who
the
even
original
watched that
Joker.
show anyways? I mean, like,
I did.
yeah, I did too.
I
I ain't
did.
gonna lie about it. You got me on
I was going to say, don't act like you don't. Whitehead's curtains is Batman curtains.
Oh, man.
Like, now? They're still Batman?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm married now.
Yeah. It don't matter. I walked into your apartment before. You've been married for at least a year, and you still had like I don't.
Well,
know,
the thing is like you know, I had some curtains, Batman curtains, and I was like, well, why should I buy some? Like, that's the kind of person I am. Like, you know, if it works, you know, if I've got an old broke down couch, if I can still sit on it, I'm not going to get another couch.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why guys get married.
Yeah. Oh, like, you know, I got Batman curtains. I'm not going to buy a new set of curtains just because of the color of it. You know?
The movie made so far $129 million. It set a lot of records. It was the top opening weekend in October ever. So the biggest movie in a weekend in October of all time. Joker now has the highest grossing Tuesday in October of all time.
Wow.
And it is expected to make an additional $42 million this upcoming weekend. If that happens, there will be a global total of $350 million so far, and it's just been out a week, and it's already made. It's already going to be top 100 grossing movies of all time, and it's only been out a week.
Well, after hearing you talk about it, I mean, like, out of that, what, 42 million they're expecting to make?
Yeah.
10 of it will probably come from me.
That's what I was going to say.
Like,
20 will come from me.
You sold me, buddy.
You got to watch it, and I don't want to ruin the movie. I don't want to be that guy who gets on here and talks about the plot of the movie. We'll talk about that next week. So, spoiler alert: next week I'm going to talk about the Joker movie in studio. So make sure you've already seen it or turn the show off, because we're going to talk about it. It's such a good prequel to Heath Ledger's Joker. Check it out. Definitely think you should.
Well, you know where I'll be this weekend.
Where?
I'll be at Hamburg.
I'll
the
be
movie theater.
I'll be in the head, they call it. Forehead.
Whitehead, it was so awesome having you on today.
Oh, dude, thanks for having me, man. I'm glad that you're doing good with all this. It's great seeing you on here. Yeah.
Whitehead, give us your social media handle so people can follow you on all social media platforms.
Twitter is Whitehead Honcho, or do I have to put the at the beginning of it? I don't even know. At Whitehead Honcho. I'm not incredibly active on Twitter, but Instagram is Hazard_native. That's where I'm originally from, is Hazard. There's that one. And then Facebook, of course, just type in Samuel Whitehead. I'm pretty sure I'm like the only one in the world. So, you know.
If you're not, then there's going to be a Sam Whitehead that's going to get a lot of friend requests. And they're going to wonder what's going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they don't know what I look like, do they?
Nope.
You know?
Of course, you can follow Amber at Ambu447. Did I get that right?
You did.
On Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. You can follow me. I don't want to give out all of my social media handles because I have so many. I just need to have one tag. So follow me on
Instagram.
Just follow me on Instagram, AdamBanks818. Follow Off the Cuff's page at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Ember Turner, Sam Whitehead. I'm Adam Banks, and this is Off the Cuff. We'll see you next Thursday from 4 to 5. Have a great week.
Thanks, everybody. How do I turn live off?
I should say, down here in the corner.
I got 12 people watching me turn this off.
Finish.
Oh, finish.
All right, let's
There
see.
you go.
What's everybody saying here? Thank you guys so much for watching the show. See you next week.